All right, we're talking about solving absolute value equations. So we had some warm-ups here. Try to remember how to do an absolute value. All we're doing is plugging in this value for n. If you don't remember what absolute values are, well, hopefully this will be a little way to learn. Hopefully you remember something from Algebra 1 about it. So we're just going to process the inside part. 2 times negative 7.5 is negative 15. Negative 15 plus 5 is negative 10. And then the absolute value of negative 10 is 10. So this is just 8 minus 4, 8.4 minus 10, which gives us negative 1.6. Give it a quick pause here and work the other two out to get us some warm up on this, and come back and check your answers. Okay, for the first one, should have gotten 1.5. And for the second one, should have gotten 1. Okay, now let's start talking about equations. Absolute value. The true, I know it just means to you we lose the negative sign. But the true definition of absolute value is the distance a number is from 0. So if the absolute value of x is 3, what number is 3 units away from 0? Well, of course, 3 is 3 units away from 0, but so is negative 3. So whatever's inside the absolute value is just a number. And that number has to be 3 units away from 0. So that number has to be 3 or negative 3. So here what we're saying is a number is 9 units away from 0. So whatever this is, x plus 12, is either 9 or x plus 12 is negative 9. So we have to solve two equations. Whatever is in here is this many units away from 0. So whatever this is must be equal to the positive version of that, or it must be equal to the negative version of that. That's what we're going to do every single time. Take what's inside, set it equal to the original thing and to the negative of the original thing, because both would be that many units away from 0. So over on the left here, we're going to subtract 12 from both sides and get negative 3. Here we're going to subtract 12 from both sides and get negative 21. You need to check your answers. There will be answers that don't actually work. So negative 3 plus 12 is 9, and so that checks out. So now we tried negative 21. Negative 21 plus 12 is negative 9. So negative 9, the absolute value of it, is in fact 9, so that also checks out. That checks back out over here. So that one's good. Okay, pause it, try to work this, this one out right here, and come back and check your answers. Okay, so remember, what's inside has to equal this or negative this. So y plus 5, I'm sorry, well, I'll talk about that in a second. So this should be y. I wrote x, I apologize. Or y plus 5 equals negative 8. Subtract 5 and get x, or in this case, sorry, y equals 3. Subtract 5 and get y equals negative 5, or negative 13. And the absolute value of 3 plus 5 is the absolute value of 8, which is in fact 8, so we're good. And the absolute value of negative 13 plus 5 is negative 8, which equals 8. So we're good there too. This is called set notation. I think Delta Math wants you to write it in set notation. When you get your answers, you put them in these little curly brackets and usually go from smallest to largest. So this one over here would be negative 13 comma 3. Those are all the solutions for the original equation. So now this one over here, we set the inside of it equal to the positive and negative version of this. And we solve from there. We get negative 20 and negative 6. I subtracted 13, subtracted 13. Well, let's try this. Negative 20 plus 13. And the absolute value of negative 7 is 7, which is not negative 7. So this one's out, because we have to check our answers. So let's go and check negative 6 plus 13, which is 7. And the absolute value of 7 is positive 7, not negative 7. So that one's also out. And what it boils down to, I'm going to erase some of my writing here. Matter of fact, let's just erase a link. The reason I bring this up is just from the get-go, you could have stopped. The absolute value of a number would never be negative. So if you ever have the absolute value of something equals negative something, there is no solution. There is no number whose absolute value is negative. Could be 0, but not negative. So an absolute value can never be negative. There's a special symbol when there's no solution. And that looks like that. The answer is the empty set. Looks like a Swedish 0. Okay, so let's step it up a bit. You can't start doing the stuff we were doing until the absolute value is by itself. You must always isolate the function. This is going to happen throughout the year. If I just said x minus 3 equals 14, most of you know you're going to add 3 to both sides and get x equals 17. We're going to do the same thing here, but now we're just leaving this. Do not touch this until it's by itself. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Now I can just do what we did on the last page. I'm going to get w plus 9 equals 17, or w plus 9 equals negative 17. Subtract 9 and get w equals 8. Subtract 9 and w equals negative 26. Go back and check your answers. You'll find out they both work. Okay, people get freaked out by this one. What if I wrote 4x minus 8 equals negative 7? Well, I'm going to add 8 and divide by 4. Well, guess what? That's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to add 8. And then I'm going to divide the 4 away. Divide this by 4, sorry. Now I've got the function by itself. I can set up the positive and negative. Double check yourself here, pause it here, work this one out so you make sure you know how to do the algebra, and check your answer in just a second. So you should have got negative 1/4 and negative 9 over 28. Okay. Pause it again and try to work out this last one, please. Okay, let's subtract 8, and then I'm going to divide by 2. If you kept going, you should hopefully learn you don't have to. I have the absolute value of a number is negative 1. Well, there is no number whose absolute value is negative. Didn't even have to go any farther. There is no solution to that. Okay, let's step things up another notch and do it like this. Remember, like before, we'd say x plus 10 equaled 9 meant x plus 10 equals 9, or x plus 10 equals negative 9. Well, the same thing is going to hold true here. What's inside is going to equal this, or what's inside is going to equal negative this. Okay? And then you just do the algebra. I did it by subtracting 4x from both sides. I'm sorry, I started by subtracting 10. Then I'm going to get the x's on the other side. And then divide both sides by negative 3. And I get positive 6. Over here on the right, we need to distribute the negative. And get x plus 10 equals negative x plus 8. And then I'm going to go through the same process. So x equals negative 4x plus 2. Now I'm going to add 4x to both sides and get 5x equals negative 2. So x is negative 2 over 5. When you go back and check your answers, negative 2 over 5 doesn't work. You get 9.6 equals negative 9.6, and that's not true. So this one is out. And you're left with just 6. So you can get one of your two answers works and the other one doesn't. Okay, let's start the next one. Work through this a little bit together at first. The last one here, I didn't have anything on the outside to deal with, but when we went back here, I still had to get the w plus 9 by itself. So I added 3. Here I had to add 8 and divide by 4. Isolating the function is still going to be like the first thing you do every time. This one just so happened to be the x plus 10, I'm sorry, the absolute value of x plus 10 was already by itself. So here, I need to move this and I need to move this to get this whole thing by itself. So I'm going to add x. I'm sorry, I did that wrong. And then divide by 2. And when I divide by 2, I'm going to divide everything by 2. And now, same thing as last time. I'm going to set up the inside is equal to this or negative this. And start solving. Subtracted 2x. If you did the subtract 1, there's no particular order you need to do this in, so don't think if you did it a different way than I did and got the right answer, you did anything wrong. Whatever order you do it in is fine. So I should have negative x plus 1 equals negative 2. Subtracted 1 from both sides. I have negative x equals negative 3. Some people say you divide by negative 1. You can also multiply by negative 1. Either way, you'll get x equals 3. Okay, over here we need to distribute the negative again. Added 2x to both sides. Subtracted 1 from both sides. And then divided by 3. But again, you need to go back and check your answers. I'm pretty sure, yeah, only 3 works in this one. 1/3 does not work. You can go back to this step and plug in your numbers. You can do 3 here and 3 here, 1/3 here and 1/3. You do not actually have to go all the way back. You can go to your last step that had the absolute value in it. Okay, you can see how to start the next one. I want you to work this one out. Pause it and come back and check your answers. All right. Should have gotten that. Divide by 3. Set the two equations up. So we're on the left. Subtract x. Subtract 2. And you get x equals negative 1. On the right, distribute the negative. Add x. Subtract 2. And guess what? You also get negative 1. And if you go back here and plug in negative 1, you're going to find that it works. So you only get one answer, which is also a possibility. Okay, there you go. That was a bit of a long exercise, but we got it now. Good luck.